ally. This is the office building that they were mentioning in the previous episode. Okay. Very protective. Very protective. I forget the guy's name again. Shit. Oh. Right. The awkwardness. Still being chained. Like, L looks kind of weird in this frame shot. Same. L's facial animation also hints that, yeah, he does feel a bit sad about all this. Oh. That's the thing that she was concerned about. Wow, you can definitely see like a difference in action when it comes to Light, like how Light before acts and how he is acting right now. Nice camera work there. Yes, this will be a problem. But yeah, as I was saying, like before, Light was just putting on an act, right? But now this is the quote-unquote real Light, like the real innocent Light, and we can see his sense of justice like really shining in this moment right now. I wanted you to be Kira. I wanted to be proven right. Ooh, interesting. Cool animation there. Man, the comedy and like 2 months, okay, a time skip. But as I was saying, like the comedy and like the there's definitely a tonal shift after the previous episode, after the events of the previous episode. Yotsuba. That was the company that we saw in the previous episode. I think the one with a lot of people who were like sitting and talking. Okay. Now that I'm watching it more and more, I can't really decide if Light is being innocent or if he is just acting really innocent. I still think it's the former. They're slowly learning about the Death Note, or at least the rules of the Death Note. Precautions. Corruption and fear as well. Aizawa, that was his name. Disassociate with them. Matsuda's gonna stay. I don't know about Aizawa though. And now the tides have changed.
再就職だな。
決めました。僕も警察を辞めてキラを追います。
See?
警察に戻るならもうここには来ないでください。
ここの情報は絶対に漏らさない。
ここの情報は絶対に渡しません。
It's gonna be a tough decision for Aizawa, considering he, you know, has a wife and kids.
局長だって家族があるのに。私とお前では立場が違う。
Yeah, basically. But the music that is playing right now.
龍崎、あなたは捜査本部の方々に何かあった場合、例えば警察をクビになった場合でも、その者と家族が一生困らないだけの経済的援助をすることを最初に私に約束させた。なぜそのことを言って差し上げないのですか?
Interesting. But why withhold that information in the first place?
俺が警察を辞めて一緒にやるかどうか見てたのか?
The trust is it's falling.
試してました。
Wow. Just flat out tells the truth. Okay then.
わかった。俺はここを辞めて警察に戻る。俺は局長たちのようにすぐに決断できなかったし。
Understandable.
こういうことをしらじらしく言うところがまたどうしようもなく嫌いなんだ。俺はここを辞める。
お疲れ様でした。
Interesting because Aizawa is the first person that we see in this episode.
ここのお荷物になりたくないからな。
お荷物。龍崎、僕にも何かやれることはありませんか？マネージャー以外に。
お役に立ちたいですか？
Oh.
じゃあコーヒーのおかわり持ってきてください。それからあちらのお客様にも。
Who that?
俺は相葉、詐欺師だ。よろしく。
ウェディ、職業は泥棒。
So how long until these two characters are gonna die? Ooh. Ah, loneliness. Serenity.
ユミ、これからちゃんと毎週休めるんだぞ。だからこの公園にだって、いや動物園にだって遊園地。
Let it out, man. Let it out. Whoa. Whoa. Interesting way to end the episode. Episode title is called Ally as well. There's definitely a lot of it's definitely talking a lot about like how much you would contribute in the group. You know, that's why they were talking about like dead weight and everything. Like how Matsuda feels like he is technically dead weight because he hasn't really done anything like noticeable or you know, as grand as like the other members. And Aizawa himself, you know, like remembering back to like when they were like thinking of like thinking back to like in the early episodes when L was basically telling them, hey, if you want to join me, you know, like choose carefully, you know, like this is a big decision, you know, and Aizawa was like one of the people who said no, I want to work with you. And now it seems like it got to him, and I mean, yeah, I can completely understand why he wants to quit, you know. It is a heavy case, and you know, it's tough, especially for, you know, especially considering what happens in like a couple of episodes ago. Alright, so gonna take a little break and we shall continue watching episode 19, I suppose, and then that's going to be the end of our session today. A recap?
すみません。
Well, they're focusing a lot on Matsuda in this recap.
僕ももっと活躍したい。
Alice eating a donut and oh, a Matsuda centric episode. Okay.
ミサ彼氏いるんでラブシーンは NG でお願いします。
How are you holding up, Matsuda? Wow. But don't be reckless. You're on your own. I really hope nothing terrible happens to him this episode. I really like him as a character.
顔と名前で人を殺せる力があったとしたら
His eyes are lifeless.
しかし自らが殺人犯になって世の中を変えようと
Interesting.
僕は思わない
Interesting self monologue that he is having.
エラルド・コイルといえばエルに次ぐ名探偵と言われている男じゃないか。
Herald Coil.
大丈夫ですよ
There's a lot of new characters being introduced now.
探偵も私ですから
Oh? It's me? Wow. Okay then. Cool. Interesting.
くそ、はっきり聞こえないな。何か一言でも革新的なことが聞ければ。
I'm really scared for Matsuda right now.
ああ、
Shit. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
松田さんがベルトで緊急サインを送ってきました。
どこから
それが
今うちで一押しのマルチタレント天音美沙を御社のイメージキャラとして CM にいかがでしょうか。
松田のバカ
Interesting play that you're going for, Matsuda, but I don't think I'm gonna buy it.
産業スパイではなさそうだ。
はい。
Okay.
っていうか龍崎は僕のこと助けてくれるのかな。
He will, he will.
もしもし。
よー松井
龍崎。
俺だ朝日だ大きさ
おお朝日。
Wow. This is so intense.
ああかなりピンチなんだ。そういうことバレバレだな。
松田かなりピンチですしょうがない
Fun scene. Kind of alleviate the tension a bit. But he is dragging Misa into this. I don't know how to feel about that. Like he's practically making the situation a lot worse. If they actually accept, of course.
これで松田さんが死んだら四つ葉の疑惑は確定的になりますが
Eesh. That's a tough reality, but yeah.
あいつ最低。ミサのことほったらかして。お仕事用の携帯に電話入った。
From Matsuda?
だからだよ。
ミサさんにこっちにも話が聞こえるようにと
ミサミサ、撮影終わったらすぐ四つ葉の東京本社に来てくれ。もしかしたら四つ葉さんの CM に出られるかもしれない。
ミサ気合い入れていくよ。
タクシーと
They're probably confused, like, wait, what? No, this is great actually, because Misa can be like their informant from the inside.
よろしくお願いします。
おい、何か方向おかしくなってないか。仕方がないだろう。今はあのマネージャーから離れるわけにはいかない。どうせなら俺は楽しむ。
Okay then.
龍崎たちが見ることができる。
はい飲んで飲んで。
これは天国だな。
make them drunk. Maybe one of them can slip out.
さてと
That wasn't his phone, was it?
龍崎見てますか？
はい。
すいません僕
そんなことはもういいです。
But he's just using it to call L. Okay then.
助かる方法はないでしょうか？
幸いまだ生きているので助かるかもしれません。それには殺される前に死ぬことです。
Fake a death? In Misa's place as well? Hmm.
さあ皆さんお待ちかね松井太郎ショータイム
He's gonna fall? The fact that he is still able to help balance is kind of impressive. When she said, "Oh no," it's kind of funny.
大丈夫です CM だけお願いしますね
My manager just died, but please consider me for your commercial.
どうあれ目の前で死んでくれてよかった。
That person who was in front of them.
エラルド・コイルと申します。条件についてご相談を。
前金200万ドル、成功報酬800万だと。
Wow. Scamming them.
僕はもうこの会議から抜ける。ハトリー。
You're gonna get killed, bro.
明日には死んでるな。
Yeah. It's too late now. Like, nah, it's too late, bro.
やる。ちゃんとやるから。
で、どうする？コイルは知ってもなお依頼を受けようとしている。
Wow. Completely ignores him. Oh my.
この中の誰かが
しかし8人ではなく7人だな。
Yeah, because one of them is dead. I think the best part about episode 18 is how it is essentially tackling the problem of, having dead weight. It's been talked about a lot throughout this episode, and we can basically see it through Matsuda, we can see it through Aizawa, and we can also kind of see it through L, in because he is kind of third wheeling Light and Misa's relationship, right? But in this episode we start with Aizawa. He is the first person that we actually see in this episode, because this is mostly an Aizawa centric episode. Not really an Aizawa centric episode, but we are getting a lot of, I guess, necessarily and much needed development for this character, because we haven't really seen him a lot throughout this entire show, throughout this entire series. He's always been in the back, and now we're actually seeing him, and we're also saying goodbye to him. I do find it really interesting in how this episode and the next episode is essentially pitting two characters, right? Matsuda and Aizawa, both of whom I would consider to be side characters of Death Note for now. Aizawa more so than Matsuda, and both of them shows like their feelings towards this case and their determination towards this case. But since we are in episode 18 for now, we're gonna talk about Aizawa first, because Aizawa is like this person who at first is very keen and very enthusiastic when it comes to this case, right? He is very much, he's very serious, and he really wants to, for this case to be over. But then we slowly realize that, hey, he has another life outside of this. He has a wife, he has some kids, and their relationship is a bit iffy right now, and that is essentially going to become the major plot point later on in the episode when Aizawa essentially goes, yeah, I quit. I'd rather choose to be with my family as opposed to continuing this case. Why? Because right now the most important thing is actually to make amends with my family a lot more. So we continue the episode, and then we are presented with L, who is kind of third wheeling Light and Misa's relationship. L seems depressed, and we talked about this in the previous sets of episodes discussion when I mentioned that L would slowly become more and more obsessive with this case. And it kind of shows the moment when L realizes that he is wrong, even though we as an audience know that he is right. L gets upset, he gets depressed, and kind of shows with how he is acting, how his demeanor, and just how his face looks right now. This is the face of someone who doesn't know what to do in his life anymore. It feels like these past couple of months his work, his objective kind of slowly falls, because it seems like he is following a false case when it comes to Light. We know how that feels, how one's objective essentially trying to reach that goal, and then realizing once you are there that this is not the goal that you are actually looking for. And it does make you feel depressed. It makes you feel like you wasted your time, and it feels like all is hopeless. Luckily for L, Light is here to literally punch some sense into him. And Light's own behavior, Light's own actions definitely isn't way different from the Light that we know throughout the rest of the show that we have seen. This isn't the Light who is power hungry. This is not the Light who wanted to create a better world. This isn't a character with a god complex at all. No, this is a character who has a very strong sense of justice, but that god complex isn't really there. And I kind of feel like the god complex of Light's character kind of clicked and began once he actually gains the Death Note and realizes its like true potential. So we got Light punching L in the face, and then we have L punching Light in the face. Some of the facial expression and some of the humor, the comedic tone of these two episodes are definitely more prevalent than the previous sets of episodes, because in the previous episodes it's like serious, and now it kind of becomes more lighthearted, and I don't know how to feel about that. And I can definitely say it is mostly attributed to the fact that in those previous episodes we are following Light and Misa, who are in possession of the Death Note. Right now, we are not following those characters. No, we are following Light and Misa, who does not have the Death Note. They don't have the Death Note. They're not really, on a murder spree, killing people, and they can actually act as their normal, quote-unquote, innocent selves. And and that change in character for both of them kind of also brought this levity to the story as well. Hence why it feels a lot more lighthearted. It's still it's still very serious, and it's still very depressing in some parts, but when it comes to like their action, their demeanor, their behavior, and just their overall dynamic between them, especially with these three characters, it has become a lot more, I would say, genuine. Because in the previous episodes, we know that it is not genuine. At least when it comes from Light, it is not genuine because he is putting on an act. He is faking it. But right now, it is genuine. It is real because this is Light's true innocent self. So, not really. I don't have a major problem when it comes to like some of the change in tone for the show so far. Because it still feels very tame, and it's still, like we need some levity in, like you don't have to be serious all the time. No, sometimes that could actually make things boring. Here, some of the levity actually works, and this is also something that is basically like you take away Ryuk, right, from Light, and Ryuk has mostly been the source of some of the comedic jokes throughout this entire show. Some of the gags, at least, from like Ryuk's own behavior and his interaction with Light and like the world has brought in a few laughs here and there. Now that Ryuk is gone for now, that became like an empty hole, so we need to fill it, and the only way we can fill it is of course with these characters who have become their kind of true selves. So again, no issue here. And then we continue on. 2 months have passed, so time skip. Slowly realizing that this group, the Yotsuba group, is acting very, very sus. It's very suspicious. Some people are dying left, right, and center, and somehow this company is skyrocketing in terms of like their revenue and their just overall like quality in general, right? So turns out there's 8 people. We don't know which one of these 8 people have the Death Note, because in the previous episode, when we get a glimpse of who, well, no, scratch that. None of them are holders of the Death Note. At least that's how I perceive it. The one who has the Death Note is not one of them. And right now, all 8 of them are essentially communicating with Kira, but 8 of them aren't essentially Kira. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Unless their main boss is Kira, I don't feel like that is the case. But it's also the... could this person be Kira? I don't know. His character design is very distinct. Like he feels like there's a very villainous aura coming out of him. Maybe not. So we have reached the second half, and the rest of the episode, which is essentially Aizawa resigning himself from the police. Oh, sorry, no, not from the police, from the Kira case. And eventually, he finally gets some rest. Towards the end of the episode, we finally see him with his family, with his kid, breaking down, crying. Finally, don't have to work. I can just sit back and relax and be with my family. Is this going to be the last time we are going to be meeting with Aizawa? I don't know. Hopefully not, because we were just given, like good character development out of him. Some much needed development, actually, because he hasn't really gotten any character development. So, I don't know, I really wish and I really hope that we get to see Aizawa again in the future. And who knows what's going to happen to him, because he is still working with the police, he can potentially be like an obstacle for our main characters. And I'm gonna go back just a bit, because before we actually see this, we get to meet new characters. I forgot the dude's name. Iber. I wrote Ihor for some reason. I don't know. My writing is so poor. Iber and Weddy. We got new characters, and I kind of feel like they're disposable characters, if I'm being honest. Right now, they only serve the purpose of either infiltrate. They're basically doing the dirty work, right? They're basically doing the dirty work. They are the criminals that, you know, we are working with. They are the ones who knows the stuff. They are the ones who are going to be dirty and getting into the action, while most of us are going to be watching them from a screen. So we haven't seen much of them, so I don't have any much to say, and this is going to lead us to episode 19, frankly. And episode 19, great title, it's Matsuda, a Matsuda centric episode. This is an episode, or this is actually a moment that I have been waiting for, because Matsuda is a character that I really enjoy, and he doesn't really get enough love. He hasn't really been developed all that much. He has always been this side character who, you know, he always has this very cheerful side of him, and we haven't really seen that much of him until this episode. So, Matsuda is working as Misa's manager. He sees the opportunity that, hey, the Yotsuba group office building is right there. I could just barge in and prove to everybody else that I am not dead weight. Now, I will say that is a foolish decision, that is a foolish behavior, and you should have never done that. But on the flip side, you know, for plot reasons, you kind of essentially did the job right. So I guess good on you, Matsuda. Good on you. But this is a very reckless behavior, and if this was any other character, they would have probably died. But because this is Matsuda, and I feel like they're gonna have like a bigger role for him, I don't know. But if he does have a bigger role, then this is the perfect place for that role to actually, you know, kick in and actually start. Sneaking into the room, to the building, kind of slowly building up the tension, and it all leads to him accidentally. No, it's not really accidentally. They open the door. He got in, and then he has to lie his way out. And it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of very intense, because like, it's funny because the way this being portrayed and the way Matsuda's character is, being this mostly lighthearted and not really a comedic sidekick, but he is a very lighthearted character. But the way his demeanor and his behavior is like going off in this moment, and the way he is just essentially, no, don't get me wrong, I'm just here to sell, you know, do you want to work with her? She's a cute girl. Don't kill me, please. It's kind of funny, but it's also very intense, and I was like half and half. Don't let anything bad happen to him, but at the same time, the way it is being directed makes it feel like Matsuda's gonna be fine. So Matsuda lies his way in, basically selling out. Well, not really selling out. I mean, kind of selling out. Basically promoting Misa by saying, "Hey, do you want her to be like help your agency out for, you know, advertisement, commercial?" And they kind of accept that. But for everybody else, including L, this is a great opportunity because now we can get insider information. This is what they wanted. They wanted to breach them, and so they said, yes, let's go. And so they invite everybody to Misa's place, and there's a bunch of girls, and they're all very hot, and all of them basically go, you know what? Yeah, let's take some time off. Let's relax. Let's enjoy ourselves, right? Before they can actually enjoy themselves off, Matsuda needs to get the fuck out. And during this scene, I was kind of predicting that maybe they're gonna use this moment, you know, to basically make these characters drunk, and hopefully, maybe potentially one of them could spill out some information that they, you know, would desperately need to convince them that, hey, the Yotsuba group is in line with Kira, and not just some word from Matsuda's mouth. But either way, they got him out. He pretends to be drunk, and then he falls. And the best part of this episode, in my opinion, where is it? Is here. When Soichiro, the chief himself, kind of comforts Matsuda and saying, hey, you did a pretty good job. I like that. I like this moment a lot. It's the... what's the word I'm looking for? It's the proof that Matsuda needed, that he is not dead weight. When the chief actually comes into him, when the chief actually comes to him, pats him in the back and saying, hey, you did good. You did good. That is all the validation that Matsuda needs. And whether or not Soichiro's action is true or false in this scene, because from Weddy's like dismissive reaction here, essentially looking away, just smoking and saying, you know, basically emanating this, yeah, whatever, just get this over with kind of vibe, you know, makes me believe that either Soichiro is putting on an act, or if this is genuine. But I want to assume and I want to believe that this is genuine, because Soichiro and Matsuda has been, you know, like together since they were introduced in the show. So that's the end of the episode. One of the members got killed, and kind of goes to show that, hey, if you're in this, there's no going back. That's the end of the episode. Well, there you have it. Hope you guys enjoy my reaction and my discussion to Death Note episodes 18 and 19. If you do, again, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you do want to watch the next episode reaction, it is available on early access over at Patreon. So, with that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastic day, and I will see you all next week for the next episode of Death Note. Take care, guys.